Covering the private sector, whereby employees contribute towards their fund for their retirement benefits.
Does the Social Security law allow you to make loans from that fund?
According to our Act, we have provision for loans to member institutions, but not loans to the President also.
Abdullah Chan, Director of Finance and Investment of Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation, who alleged to have received a number of directives, among them a request for $1 million signed by Dr. Njogu Elba, the then Secretary General and Head of Civil Service. He also testified to several other cash loans requests amounting to millions of dollars that still remains unpaid.
This is the same Office of the President that borrowed $1 million and didn't repay.
Yeah.
And you still acted on a second request.
Yes. The Managing Director acted and instructed me to proceed with payment. I facilitated payment.
Despite several defaults in unpaid loans, Cham and the rest of the Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation management continue to issue more loans to the Office of the President and other parastatals, cumulatively amounting to $1.7 billion. From the beginning of the inquiry, witnesses called to testify to the Commission have tried to hide behind the said orders issued by the former president, claiming that they were only acting as instructed and following directives, and had no room for free will or for the cash loans requests. This defense, as it might be, amounting to millions of dollars among government still remains both current and former.
This is the same Office of the President that borrowed $1 million.
But that was not the case.
And didn't repay. And you still acted on a second request.
Yes. The Managing Director acted and instructed me to proceed with payment. I facilitated payment.
Despite several defaults in unpaid loans, Cham and the rest of the Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation management continue to issue more loans to the Office of the President and other parastatals, cumulatively amounting to $1.7 billion. Witnesses called to testify to the Commission have tried to hide behind the said orders issued by the former also, claiming that they were only acting as instructed and following directives, and had no room for free will or for the cash loans requests. This defense, as it might be, amounting to millions of dollars among government still remains both current and former. However, the Commission says have started detecting the lack of professional due diligence on the part of many. Thus prompting reflection, the civil servants have to work as ordered or as supposed to. Despite several defaults and unpaid loans, Cham and the rest of the Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation management continue to issue more loans to them.
Representing government interests. Civil servants are supposed to act as they must, not act as they are directed.
In addition to shifting the blame, Mr. Cham argued that he had little or no choice than to act as told. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Tenengite.
You can watch highlights of today's sitting shortly after this newscast. The domestic pump price of petrol is $47.55 butus, diesel $45.55 butu, and kerosene $41 with effect from Wednesday, 4th October. A statement from the Ministry of Finance urges oil marketing companies to adhere to the new prices. The ministry says it will continue to monitor developments in the global oil market and make appropriate adjustments when necessary. Meanwhile, stakeholders in the finance sector are discussing national money laundering and terrorism financing risk assessment methodologies. The three-day forum is designed to train members of the National Risk Assessment Technical Working Groups in how to conduct the exercise in the coming 12 months. Fatimata Sise reports.
Money laundering and terrorism financing are illicit financial transactions that involves the generation of illegal monies and or support terrorist organizations. The activities entail the use of legitimate financial institutions to move and store such assets. This poses great threat to economies and their stability. The three-day conclave on the way in Kololi will discuss measures to counter the challenge, which includes the use of World Bank assessment tools to detect money laundering. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, Lamin Camara, dwelled on the challenges encountered in tracing illicit cash flows, which he said makes it difficult to curb the trend.
The country is into a new democratic dispensation, which seeks to put in place adequate structures and functions to fight every form of crime, including money laundering, terrorist financing, and proliferation of weapons of mass destruction.
P.S. Camara said the activity exposes economies to great financial dangers. The first Deputy Governor, Central Bank of the Gambia, Dr. Sekou A. Jabi, said money laundering and terrorism financing have become a global concern, posing great risk to economies.
The national risk assessment process is geared towards testing the robustness of the current AML and CFT crime in the Gambia, regime in the Gambia. The objective is to identify, assess, and mitigate the money laundering risk through adjustments and amendments in the legal and regulatory frameworks.
Mr. Jabi revealed that worldwide estimates of money laundered annually is on the rise, with Africa leading the rest of the developing world due to illicit cash flows. The trend has prompted actors in the economic sector to map out strategies to combat the menace. Dr. Sekou Jabi added. Muazu Umar, Director Research and Planning, Jaba, Senegal, said the Gambia over the years has adopted concrete measures to protect its economy from all forms of threat. He said the training will give participants a thorough understanding on how to use World Bank tools to assess illicit dealings.
Since the adoption of the Gambia's first mutual evaluation report in 2008, the country has worked hard to address the weaknesses identified in its AML-CFT regime with regard to legal and institutional frameworks, enforcement, regulation, and supervision. The country has also strengthened its national coordination mechanism. Giaba can testify to the progress made by this country, and it is highly significant and worthy of admiration.
Yahya Kamara, Director of Financial Intelligence Unit and NRA Coordinator, and Kari Votava, a Senior Financial Sector Specialist, both called for joint efforts to look at ways and means to build the skills of finance officials to curb the trend. For the news, I am Fatimata Sise.
The Gambia's development plan for 2018-2021 is being validated. The document will serve as a blueprint for boosting the country's socio-economic status. Details in this report by Seni Marina.
The Gambia is at a crossroads in its history. The new political dispensation following the democratic transition after 22 years of dictatorship has led the new government of President Adama Barrow to focus more on transformational agenda aimed at revamping the economy to improve the quality of life for Gambians. At a meeting that brought together civil society, UN bodies and government officials to validate the National Development Plan, officials said the document has addressed key sectors of the country's development priorities. Speaking at the validation meeting, the United Nations resident representative in the Gambia, Madam Ade, said the plan has incorporated lessons learned from the past and is fully aligned to the 2013 Agenda for Sustainable Development, the Africa Agenda of 2063, and other global and regional commitments, representing the comprehensive fundamentals needed to make development a reality for the Gambia.
The transformation does not only focus on economic and financial issues, but most importantly, on social, political, and legislative changes that would create an enabling environment for sustainable socio-economic development, including strengthening the capacity and efficiency of public institutions, opening the democratic space, and enhancing citizens' participation in development, underpinned by good governance, the rule of law, equality, human rights, and justice.
The top UN diplomat underscored the UN commitment to supporting the national planning process by providing technical advisory and financial support in a major bid to revitalize and transform the Gambian economy. The Minister of Finance, Amadou Sane, explained the significance of the country development blueprint, stressing that all sectors are taken care of by the comprehensive document.
Another milestone in the process towards the finalization of the National Development Plan. We have reached the tail end of the formulation process of this plan, and as we see that this plan is the vehicle through which we seek to define the strategies and actions to address the host of economic and social challenges that we face today in our country. It will set the template to guide us as we seek to deliver our promise of good governance, accountability, and a revitalized and transformed economy to our citizens.
He also advised the participants to critically examine the document as they embark on the review process. For the Finance Minister, it's vital for the development plan to reflect the current realities for the Gambia. The Director of Development Planning at the Ministry of Finance, Mr. Alaji Fadera, took stakeholders through a piece-by-piece analysis of the document.
The area of access and quality as far as education and health are concerned, and water and sanitation, there were improvements in this area, and it was also emphasized during the midterm evaluation, which was done in 2014, that further gains are likely by 2015. Universal access to primary education and gender parity, that is 1:1, was achieved during the period, and there were also significant achievements in the MDGs related to education.
It validated the NDP slated to run from 2018 to 2021 will be operationalized to serve as the first government blueprint imagined to set the tone of development in New Gambia. For GRTS News, I am Seni MK Maren.
The Turkish ambassador to the Gambia, Ismail Sefa Yusa, Tuesday donated electronic devices to the Ministry of Justice. Echan Silva witnessed the presentation ceremony.
Yes, to the Ministry of Justice, the Turkish Embassy continues its move to complement capacity building efforts and resource provision to critical government departments and establishments.
As the Turkish Embassy, we want to donate 10 computers together with 2 printers. I mean, these have special features, of course.
An extension of Turkey's diplomatic money funds to key public institutions has seen the Turkish emissary to the Gambia presenting much needed electronic devices and computers to enhance service delivery.
We can be kind of helpful to the capacity building of the ministry, and also you can work more efficiently in your very hectic duties.
Within a short period of his diplomatic mission in the Gambia, the new Turkish ambassador Ismail Sefa Yusir, who said is committed to improving ties between Banjul and Ankara, has significantly made his mark. Recently, he made similar interventions at the University of the Gambia and in the Lower River region, where the Turkish embassy donated relief materials to flood victims. Explaining why the Justice Ministry is singled out this time around for donation, Ambassador Yusir underscored that justice is a critical component of government that needs strengthening.
I know that justice is very delicate and very important sector in any country. I mean, you have a very big responsibility, and you have very important mission for Gambia, especially for the new Gambia, because new Gambia means democracy, the new Gambia means prosperity.
The state-of-the-art computers will enhance productivity in justice delivery for the populace, according to Justice Minister Abubakar Tambedu.
The ministry is grateful to you. These donations will go a long way to alleviating the already difficult working conditions at the ministry. My priority, as I said right from the go, is that we need to strengthen capacity at the ministry, both human and material capacity. And I think we have already started seeing the results of this.
It is clearly the first of such developments between Ambassador Yusir and the Justice Minister, yet the impressive encounter appears poised to nurture what has all makings of solid partnership. During the presentation, both parties also discussed possibilities of providing sponsorship packages to staff of the ministry to further enhance their professional capacity. Etienne Silva, GRTS News.
A training in the essentials of transitional justice is underway at the Alliance Française in Canifing. Maudou Bajan was there and he filed in this report.
Organized in collaboration with the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, the conclave brought together judicial officials, security agents as well as other stakeholders of the country's seemingly sought-after transitional justice.
You succeeded peacefully in regime change, avoiding civil war and unjustified violence. Now you must succeed in peace and reconciliation. All of you, in your roles and functions, it will be your responsibility to take part in this slow and complicated process of transitional justice.
Speakers, including the first advisor to the Ambassador of France in Senegal and the Gambia, Luc Briand, highlighted the importance of succeeding in reconciliation. Addressing participants, the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Tambelu, noted that this is a challenging task, especially given that it does not want to create or increase divisions in the country.
It is a time for some critical decisions. We want accountability, and at the same time do not want that to divide us further and jeopardize our peace and stability. We want to put victims at the forefront of the transitional justice process, restore their dignity, and provide reparations against the background of the realities of our fragile economy. We would require tremendous assistance from our friends around the world, such as the Republic of France, to realize our objectives in this transition.
For the Ivory Coast Country Office Head of the International Center for Transitional Justice, Mohamed Souma, victims are key in the actualization of transitional justice.
One of our primary constituencies, which we also always very much trying to enhance that capacity to engage in the process, is the victim community, which is essential. It's important because for any transitional justice process to succeed, you have to have the victims participating in the process.
Having hailed the Gambia for standing up for democracy regarding its recent political dispensation, a senior associate of the International Center for Transitional Justice, Howard Vani, added that they will be looking at critical things necessary for the country's transitional justice.
Because I think Gambians have shown that it can be done, that you can stand up for democracy, and that's really what the next 2 days is about. It's about looking at the past, looking to see what has happened, what needs to be redressed. But importantly, it's about what can be done to build a new future. It really is up to Gambians to decide what kind of future it wants.
Recently, my ministry, in collaboration with the UNDP, OHCHR, civil society and the media, conducted nationwide consultations on the design and implementation of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission. There was overwhelming support and consensus on the need to speedily establish our Truth Commission, which most believe is crucial in serving as a vehicle to reconciling the nation.
Participants, among them the country representative of Search for Common Ground, Aaron Weah, and Deputy Commissioner of Police, Lamin Banda, reiterated the need to reset some of society's perceptions as regards the Gambia's new political environment.
If we actually want to pave a way forward that would actually enable the Gambia adhere to all those provisions that the international world wanted us to actually conform to, the tendency is a lot has to be done in terms of mindset changes, because these people we're talking about for 22 years were actually seeing the way things were unfolding.
Maudou Bajan, GRTS.
We will take our first break now. The sports news is up next. Stay with us. Welcome back. In sport, Strugglers Football Club have been crowned champions of Nyamina Kudang after a dramatic post-match penalty shootout win over their rivals Jaliba United. MS Jallo has more in this report.
It was a colorful ending to the 2017 Nyamina Kudang Summer Football Tournament, with Strugglers Football Club crowned champions after a dramatic post-match penalty shootout win against Jaliba United. The thrilling final brought to an end nearly 2 months of fierce contest among the 6 participating teams drawn from Kudang and surrounding villages. Jaliba United, seen here in navy blue, defeated Kudang Mayo in the first semi-final, while Strugglers Football Club eliminated Kontekunda Football Club to set up this mouth-watering Kudang derby. Fans of the two teams were out in their numbers, with some of them traveling from different parts of the country to support their respective sides. But what spiced up the final more was the presence of community elders, including the Imam of the village and some of Kudang's prominent sons. Among them, Lare Sise, retired UN official, and Buba Sise of the Gambia Revenue Authority. The governor of Central River Region was ably represented by Assistant Superintendent Musa Asana. The game got off to a slow start, with both sides showing signs of nervousness in the opening moments of the game. Jaliba United, however, looked more promising in the early stages. Gradually, the two sides started to play better, as both sets of players showed some exciting skills. But the first period ended goalless. The game sparked into life after the resumption from the break, with a breathtaking second half. A series of chances were created at both ends in an end-to-end stop, but neither teams could find the back of the net, forcing the tie to be decided by penalty kicks. Before the penalty shootout, the Strugglers coach replaced his first-choice goalkeeper with a striker, and the decision worked for him, with the striker-turned goalkeeper saving 2 penalties. The marathon penalty shootout ended 8-7, with the substitute shot-stopper producing 2 brilliant saves to secure Strugglers their first title, and their fans stormed the pitch in wild celebrations. But the hero of the day was Alaji Ensa Sisi, who, despite failing to score in the game, playing as a striker, saved 2 penalties as a goalkeeper. This year's summer football tournament, which is organized annually to promote football and unite the youths of the area, has been hailed as one of the best, much to the satisfaction of the organizers. Certificates of appreciation were presented to natives of Kudang, both within and outside of the Gambia, for their support. At the end, Strugglers Football Club were crowned 2017 champions of Nyamina Kudang. GRTS Sports.
Now, Monica Stamp, a women's football trainer, is currently in the Gambia to work with the technical staff of the Gambia female team for a period of 2 months. The football technician flew in from Germany last night. Shortly after her arrival, she spoke to GRTS's Momodu Lamin Sane. Here's an excerpt.
I'm very pleased that the German Foreign Affairs Office and here the Olympic Committee and also the Football Federation and all the other ministry are very happy to do a program here for women and girls football. So we are happy to come here and see what is happening, what we can do in 2 months' time. So this is my project, and it's a kind of working together with some help in also like having a gym which will be for the public, to do some exercises for the general people. That is sort of the mind they want to do after these 2 months, and also here to see and to support, of course, women and girls football, to have more, hopefully, girls playing football also here in Gambia. Yeah, he's very ambitious and very active in doing things, so that is good for us coming here as an expert, giving them ideas, and of course they have to be accomplished and they have to be fulfilled to help together to make this happen for these young girls to play football, to give hopefully them more perspective for their life. I think this is also important, and to promote the game, which I think also the girls have the right, not only the boys and the men. So I think it will be great to working with them together. I had good experience in the past, so I think we also will have a good time this time.
petition. Yeah.
Over now to internationals. Las Vegas police are still trying to establish the motive behind Monday's mass shooting. At least 59 people were killed and more than 500 injured when Stephen Paddock opened fire on crowds attending an outdoor concert. Police found 23 guns in his hotel room, but no clear reason for the massacre has emerged. Details in this report.
First confusion and then panic. People dropped to the ground as a stream of bullets were fired from above. Police say a lone gunman fired from windows on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel, where he had been staying for several days.
Keep moving!
Police used explosives to enter the hotel room of the shooter, 64-year-old Stephen Paddock, a local man who had already killed himself by the time police entered. Authorities say they found at least 16 weapons in the hotel room and another 18 firearms, along with explosives and thousands of rounds of ammunition at the gunman's home about 130 kilometers away. Paddock's brother said the shooter did not have any affiliation with terrorist or hate groups.
There's just nothing. I mean, it's all in the public record. He did stuff. He went to college. He had a job. You know, we owned some apartments. We sold some apartments. I mean, there's nothing. There was no
indication at all.
Nothing. That's what's so. I mean, I can't even make something up. There's nothing.
ISIL initially claimed responsibility for the mass shooting, but police have denied that connection and are still investigating the killer's motive. U.S. President Donald Trump will visit Las Vegas on Wednesday. He said it was an act of pure evil.
In moments of tragedy and horror, America comes together as one, and it always has.
We'll take our second break now.
Season is here and QCell has a great way for fans to follow their favorite teams. QCell's Q Football gives you live updates of your favorite teams, games, including all the goal scorers. Catch and more. Whether your team plays in the football.
And that brings us to the end of the news. But before we take leave of you, a recap of the day's main stories. The Minister of Information and Communications Infrastructure, Demba Ali Jawo, has revealed government's latest move to cut costs on overseas travel. Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation lent the former president and his partners $1.7 billion, Director of Finance tells Janneh Commission. Kenya's Electoral Commission officials are set to meet with the two contending candidates ahead of a rerun of the presidential elections. And police in Las Vegas have continued their investigation into the mass killing of partygoers at an open-air concert. Well, that was all in this edition of the news. Thanks for the pleasure of your company. Do have a very pleasant evening.